Hi, Steve Lillis here with Gospel Trick Shot Ministries. I'd like to share a little bit about my testimony with you today. I want to leave a legacy. Therefore, I am a legacy-minded man. I care very much about how I react to circumstances, situations in my life. I care very much how I treat people, particularly my family, how I represent the Lord. I want to share something that's happened to me in the past year during the coronavirus. Started out about a year ago, as many of you did, by being isolated in my home. Everything shut down. My ministry was shut down. And there was loss that went with that. Not able to do our ministry assignments. What we began to do was do some video online. We began to put together some of the material we had from previous months, and I began to do updates. I'm going to share some of that with you in just a little bit, but let me talk a little bit about loss and about surrender. Not only did we lose because of the coronavirus, but about 6 months into the coronavirus, I had an accident. I fell down a flight of stairs. I broke my right hip, broke my left arm, tore my rotator cuff in my left arm, and had some residual back problems. And what God began to do in my life through that loss of physical activity is he began to rechannel my focus. He began to put me in a period of waiting where obviously I couldn't do much. And I began to get some redirection. So here I am waiting for recovery and what the Lord's going to do. And then in about January, first week in January of this year, 2021, I got the coronavirus. And that threw me for a loop, so to speak. And I began to have all the symptoms. It took a month or more to recover. And I began to really consider what is going on. What, after all this, and I was still trying to recover from the physical injuries that I had. And you know what I learned through that is that I learned to let go. I realized that God was trying to empty me so he could fill me. I began to look at not as a loss, but as a gain. And that's the way God works in our lives. We think we're losing, but we're really gaining because God is emptying us of things that really, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be there. And in my case, some of my goals, ambitions, my drive, what I wanted to do with my ministry, what I wanted to do with my life, my family began to change as I felt this very empty feeling and I began to surrender everything, say, Lord, show me what you want me to do. Now, maybe that's you today. And I have some of my gospel trick shots that I want to share with you. And I'm going to show them. There's 4 of them. And they're going to be 4 principles behind each of these gospel trick shots. And I played pool as a professional pool player for many years. As a matter of fact, I played professionally right up to the coronavirus. And now I wonder if I'll ever play again professionally, and that's in God's hands. But I believe he's got a perfect plan because he does all things well. So the first shot is going to be about deception. And you're going to see that in a few moments. There's going to be some discussion. I prepared these shots about a year ago, and I found that I had to live them out. Here, I'm pretty good at preaching, but can I live what I preach? And that's what happened to me. And so the first shot, deception, is that things are not always as they appear. Maybe that's true in your life today. You know, maybe things are happening and it's really not what it looks like. Then there's another shot that you're going to see called walls. And sometimes we make walls between us and people, us and God. and could be a number of reasons. And there'll be some challenges in that shot that'll be presented. And then there's joy, because on the other side of the wall, if we pass the test, and there's joy that can be found by having the right order in life. And you'll see that as well in a moment. And then the last shot, the grand finale, the shot is a very special one. It's called the Titanic. And the question is, who's the captain of your ship? Who's directing your life? Have you surrendered your will to God's will and let him direct? And are you willing to let go and let God direct you and guide you? And so, putting this all together, I want to ask you, what have you lost today? What have you, what has gone from your life that you feel you're missing? But then a bigger question is, what do you think God is doing? What is he replacing that with? What is he filling you up with? Hopefully it's his will and his purpose. And then that last question is to challenge you on that last shot, the Titanic. Who is the captain of your ship? Is it you or is it God? And so I'm going to let the shots speak for themselves. And there's some dialogue with it. But I want to challenge you, if you want to be a legacy-minded man, you want to leave a legacy for your friends, for your family, a legacy for Jesus. It all has to do with how you respond to the situations that God engineers, the situations that God orchestrates in your life. God bless you. Looks can be very deceiving, can't they? And you know, this virus situation is very deceiving. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we do know that behind it all, God is still alive and working. And I've seen it in many people's lives. People have been coming closer to God. So don't let this situation deceive you into thinking that it's hopeless, because God is our hope. And now I want you to enjoy the next shot. It's a very deceptive shot. The black 8 ball will somehow come out of the cluster and end up in the side pocket. Enjoy the shot. Just like this next shot is called walls. Sometimes we create our own problems, and I call it walls. Let's say, for example, there's somebody that you can't forgive because they've offended you. Say there's somebody that you're angry at. Or in my case, maybe as a pool player, we don't like losing, and maybe we've lost matches, and there's a wall that goes up between the opposing player after he defeats us or she defeats us. Well, these kinds of things must come down, because if you can't get along with the people that you see, you'll not be able to get along with the one you can't see. Of course, that's God. And you see, every day, God gives us a test, and it's always people. That's probably the greatest test, is people. Especially if you find yourself quarantined or in your house today with some people, and it might be getting very, very stressful. So let's knock that wall down. Watch the walls come down. And when the walls come down, the 4 balls is the wall. You'll notice that the cue ball will come back. That's you, the cue ball will come back and have a relationship with that person that's sitting in the corner pocket. Enjoy the shot. One of the great byproducts of having a relationship with Jesus is joy. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength. It also says in John 8:36 that if the Son sets you free, it's the Son of God, Jesus, you are free indeed. You see, he wants to set you free from whatever it is that's troubling you today. And so enjoy this next shot. It's called the joy shot. You'll notice the yellow ball, the one ball, is on the rail. In front of that is the blue 2 ball, and in front of that is the red 3 ball. And they got to go in the right order, the 1 first, the 2 second, and the 3 last. And you know, joy is spelt J-O-Y. And Jesus, the 1 ball, that's got to go in first, because that's what you got to do, put Jesus first. Others second, that's the 2 ball, will go in second. And then yourself, put yourself last, that's the 3 ball, will go in last. And when you have that order, you'll find that you will have joy. Enjoy the shot.
First, others second, yourself last. So 2 ball placement right there, looks like that.
This next shot is a fan favorite. You know, I spent some time in the United States Navy, so we're going to build a boat right now, and this shot is called the Titanic, but we're going to put a little different twist on it. You'll notice that there'll be different sides of the ship. There's the port side, starboard side, the fore side, the aft side. You'll see passengers out on deck. You'll see a captain. You'll see his first mate, second mate. And because it's the Titanic, we're going to try to sink all 15 balls. But what I want to bring to your attention, and in the last shot I mentioned about Noah and the rainbow, and I want to mention to you that maybe, like I was for many years, I was on the Titanic. In other words, I was on a ship that was destined to sink because I was the captain of my ship. I made decisions without consulting anybody, especially God. And I was headed to destruction. And I want to encourage you as you watch this shot and all the balls sinking, you don't want to be on the Titanic. I want to ask you if you would make Jesus the captain of your ship and switch from the Titanic to the ark. Just like in the story of the rainbow, the ark saved. So enjoy this next shot and keep that message in mind.
9 ball open in Norfolk, Virginia. This is the Titanic. This is Gospel Trick Shot Ministries booth. All 15 balls in one shot. With the 8 ball in the right side pocket.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you were blessed by the material. We also want to remind you that there are several great ways to make sure you're staying up to date on our content as part of our 360 Legacy Plan. First, subscribe to this channel by clicking subscribe below. You can also download our incredible new app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Just search Legacy Minded Men. And finally, visit our website at legacymindedmen.org for more information on what we believe, upcoming events, and how to join a group. Thanks again for watching.